afternoon. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, the National Security Council sounds the alarm on China's deployment of its monster ship inside Manila's exclusive economic zone. The National Bureau of Investigation wrapping up its probe on Vice President Sara Duterte's supposed threat against the first couple and the House Speaker. Transport regulators crack down on Transport Network Vehicle Services, or TNVS, for making drivers shoulder discounts for senior citizens and students. We'll give you the latest from the hearing happening at the Senate. And South Korea condemns North Korea's latest missile launch. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the National Bureau of Investigation, which has wrapped up its probe on Vice President Sara Duterte's supposed threat against the first couple and the House Speaker. The Justice Department says prosecutors will investigate the evidence gathered by the NBI. The agency says VP Sara made the threats in the middle of the Quadcom investigation on her office's confidential funds. She allegedly spoke to someone to kill President Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez in case something bad happens to her. This is something she spoke of herself in a press conference.
Depending on the outcome, we will be able to make a recommendation whether to have it considered filed already before the department and or to return it to the NBI if there's a need to build up the case further and to add to the evidence that they have. But this is subject to evaluation. The NBI and the DOJ are working closely together, our prosecutors, to ascertain the evidence that is on hand.
Once the evaluation is confirmed to be enough to warrant preliminary investigation, that's the time that the preliminary investigation proper would be initiated.
The position of the House Appropriations Committee chairperson is officially declared vacant as Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico steps down. The committee plays a central role in the preparation and review of the national budget. Zandro Ochona has the details.
Session resumed.
Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico stepped down from his position as chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, citing health concerns. In a statement, Ko expressed his gratitude to the majority for accepting his decision. He said his decision to step down was due to pressing health concerns, and the demanding nature of his role has taken its toll and would prioritize seeking medical attention. During the first session, after the House resumes its session this year, Senior Deputy Majority Leader Sandro Marcos moved that the chairmanship of the Appropriations Committee be declared vacant.
Mr. Speaker, I move to declare vacant the position of chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations.
There's a motion. The chair hears no objection. Said motion is carried. Session suspended.
When the session resumed, Speaker Martin Romualdez delivered his opening speech. Romualdez said the House will hold oversight hearings to ensure that the people's money serves the people's needs. The House will investigate issues on smuggling and hoarding, inflating food prices. They will also look into the 206 billion pesos disallowed expenditures by the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, as well as ensure energy reforms that lower electricity costs. They will also investigate the 11.18 billion pesos worth of expired medicines and underutilized PhilHealth funds.
And we will scrutinize the alleged misuse of confidential funds, for no peso must go unaccounted for. Let this be our promise. Public trust is sacred, and this House will never betray it. Sa mga umatake sa atin para tumigil tayo sa mga investigasyon, may mensahe tayo sa kanila. Itutuloy natin ang trabaho na inaatang sa atin ng mamamayan. Hindi tayo atras sa anumang laban para sa bayan.
The session ended with no member of the House replacing Ko for his position. Zandro Ochona, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Today's top story, security officials assures the public they will explore all diplomatic options to protect the country's territory. Francis Falve monitored the press conference of the National Security Council today. Francis, what else did the NSC say in the press conference?
Yes, Mai, the National Task Force West Philippine Sea faced the media in Manila today. According to the National Security Spokesperson, Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya, China's deployment of its so-called monster ship to the Philippines' exclusive economic zone is alarming. He added that the government was surprised about the increasing aggression being shown by the People's Republic of China. Yesterday, the National Maritime Council said in a statement that they already filed a diplomatic protest on the illegal presence of CCG vessels in the Philippine waters. It also stated that the Philippines strongly oppose the illegal actions of the Chinese Coast Guard, as well as the provocative actions of PLA Navy helicopters within the country's maritime zone, which is a clear violation of the Philippine maritime law and the arbitral ruling. For the Philippine Coast Guard, it will continue to raise those challenges to drive away Chinese Coast Guard vessels. According to Commodore J. Tariela, they deployed the BRP Teresa Magbanwa and the BRP Gabriela Silang to tail the monster ship crossing Bajo de Masinloc and the Coast Guard of Zambales. Aside from the China monster ship, there are two more CCG vessels being monitored inside the Philippine exclusive economic zone.
Other than that, whether it's in 90 nautical miles away from Mindoro or in Palawan or in Visayas or wherever, it's concerning. Not just because it is at the port touch line, what we talk about is right now. We are always serious in looking into the illegal presence of the Chinese Coast Guard.
These tensions in the region, right? It is not in any country's interest to have this type of situation where tensions are increasing. So we hope that the PRC will not push the envelope, because the more that they push the envelope, the more that things become complicated.
The National Task Force on the West Philippine Sea also said that they are open to other options to protect the country's territorial waters in a diplomatic manner and in accordance to the rule of domestic and international laws. Mai?
Kiko, very quickly, Philippine authorities have been tailing China's monster ship because it's been moving a few days now, right? So any information on its current location?
Yes, Mai, according to Commodore Tariela, as we speak this morning, the monster ship is located some 70 or more nautical miles away from the coast of Zambales. So it goes up to the west and then it goes back. So they are tailing it, and they also deployed a helicopter to have a bird's eye view of this monster ship, and they continue to do radar challenges to drive this ship away from our EEZ. Mai.
Right, thank you for that report, Francis Falve. Land transportation regulators are cracking down on transportation network companies like Grab, making drivers shoulder senior citizen and student discounts. And for more on this, we have Agatha Gregorio reporting live from the Senate. Agatha, any specific action that we can expect from the LTFRB?
The LTFRB says it will implement a memorandum circular by next month, saying all discounts should be shouldered by the TNVS and not the driver. According to the National Public Transport Coalition, Grab used to implement a 60-40 split for discounts, with the TNC shouldering 40%. But starting March last year, drivers had to shoulder 100%. Motorcycle taxi riders also launched a motorcade outside the Senate this morning to call for the passage of the motorcycle taxi law. Riders say having clear regulations would help improve their services. Mai?
Agatha, on the issue about senior citizen and student discounts, will the drivers who shouldered these discounts be refunded?
Senator Rafi Tulfo had that same question. The LTFRB says it is inclined to follow that recommendation, but its final decision on the refund will not be out until the end of the month. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you. Agatha Gregorio reporting to us from that Senate hearing. Almost 200 Filipinos have now sought the help from the Philippine Consulate in Los Angeles. They were among thousands of residents of Southern California affected by the raging wildfires. Consul General Adelio Cruz told BNC's Weather HQ they're now being provided with food, shelter, and medicines. The death toll in the devastating wildfires that have burned down entire communities and neighborhoods in Los Angeles has risen to 24. South Korea's military says North Korea fired an unidentified missile off its east coast today. The launch came about a week after the North fired what it claimed was a new intermediate-range hypersonic ballistic missile, which was Pyongyang's first missile test since November 5. It also occurred days before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump returns to office. Trump had held unprecedented summits with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. South Korea's acting president Choi Sang-mok says the country will sternly respond to North Korea's provocation, condemning the latest missile launch as a violation of UN Security Council resolutions. U.S. President Joe Biden says he expects oil prices to stabilize after Washington imposed tougher sanctions on Russian oil shipments in response to the ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, told reporters that the new sanctions would give President-elect Trump's team more leverage in future talks over the war in Ukraine.
President Biden was not going to impose sanctions on Russia's oil sector if it meant an undue burden on American working families. He does not believe that the action he took places such an undue burden on them, and he believes as you project out over the course of 2025 on supply and demand that the oil market is very well supplied, that oil prices will stabilize in a place that does not impose undue burdens on American consumers, and that on the one hand we can hit Putin's pocketbook without on the other hand taking too big a whack out of the American people's pocketbook. That was not an opportunity available to us 1 year ago.
Meanwhile, Middle East crude oil benchmark premiums surged on Monday to around $3 per barrel, above Dubai quotes, the highest since October 2023. The price spike comes as Asian buyers race to find alternative suppliers amid the restrictions on Russian oil. These developments signal a potentially volatile energy market as global tensions continue to impact supply chains and prices. We're taking a quick break. Up next, Meralco cuts power rates this month. The details after the break. Stay with us. Back on Newsfeed at noon, consumers can breathe a sigh of relief this month as Meralco announces lower electricity rates for January. Sujin Kim has the details.
The year is off to a good start as electricity rates dropped this January 2025. From 11 pesos and 96 centavos per kilowatt hour in December, the new rate stands at 11 pesos and 74 centavos. For a household consuming 200 kilowatt hours, this translates to a savings of approximately 44 pesos on their bills this month. The drop in rates is due to lower generation charges.
Kung titingnan po natin yung actual movement ng charge ng generation, there was a reduction of almost 16 centavos. Malaki po yung reduction sa WESM at 88 centavos per kilowatt hour. So halos piso na po ito. Overall po ay reduction pa rin po ang nangyari sa generation charge.
Prices in the wholesale electricity spot market or WESM dropped by 44 centavos.
Isang malaking dahilan kung bakit bumaba ang generation charge for January ay dahil sa pagbaba ng spot market prices. Gumanda yung supply situation sa Luzon grid dahil malaki ang binaba ng demand dahil nga sa holiday season.
IPP charges also declined due to stronger peso, lower fuel costs, and operational improvements.
The dollar exchange rate nagkaroon din po ng improvement from 58.62 to 57.845. And as you know, malaking portion po ng generation cost is dollar denominated, kaya this also was a contributory factor.
Transmission charges also decreased by 8 centavos, providing additional relief to customers. However, expect a temporary increase in transmission charges due to an order from the Energy Regulatory Commission. The ERC approved the collection of 3.277 billion pesos for unpaid reserve market transactions.
For Luzon, the estimated add-on is around 12 centavos per kilowatt hour per month for 3 months. So February, March, and April.
But this is expected to be offset by a refund for regulatory reset costs issued by the ERC. Meralco is required to refund 997.16 million pesos or equivalent to 22 centavos per kilowatt hour, which will be reflected in February bills.
Nagkaroon ng recent issuances ang Energy Regulatory Commission na nag-apply sa lahat ng distribution utilities sa Pilipinas. So for Meralco, this means a one-time refund of 22.6 centavos per kilowatt hour plus another refund that will be reflected as a separate line item in the bill of 0.0023 pesos per kilowatt hour.
Despite the lower electricity rates, Meralco urges the public to conserve energy and practice energy efficiency to maximize their savings. Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The Department of Finance, or DOF, says it is committed to making tax allotments for local government units clear and transparent. This statement comes after the anti-corruption group Mayor for Good Governance, or M4GG, asked for a meeting with the DOF to address concerns about a reported shortfall in LGU's share of national taxes. Finance Secretary Ralph Recto says the DOF is strictly following the Supreme Court's Mandanas-Garcia ruling, which gives local governments a fairer share of tax revenues. Recto also welcomes the meeting to discuss and resolve these issues with local officials. In simple terms, this means local governments could have more funds to support businesses and communities, driving growth at the local level. The Department of Agriculture urges local government units in Metro Manila to sell NFA rice. According to Agriculture Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa, this move aims to make affordable rice more widely available in the market while freeing up warehouse space for new stocks. The DA is set to meet with the Metro Manila Council this week to finalize the plan. As of December 2024, the NFA has secured 95% of its targeted 300,000 metric tons for the national rice buffer stock. If implemented, this initiative could help ease pressures on rice prices while ensuring a steady supply for consumers. Artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies are beginning to take over jobs traditionally done by people. As Sujin Kim reports, the global labor market will undergo massive changes.
Graphic design is one of the industries taking a direct hit from artificial intelligence and creative automation tools. With AI now generating visual content at scale, the demand for traditional graphic artists is shrinking. Graphic designer Shala Yu added that many companies now rely on generative AI platforms and AI-powered tools such as Canva and Adobe. The shift in demand has forced graphic artists to adapt to a rapidly evolving industry.
is concerning because it means less jobs for for people like me. Actually, at the moment, my peers, they don't call themselves graphic artists anymore because we had to branch out to a more in-demand forms like short form reels and illustration.
But graphic design isn't the only sector feeling the impact of automation. According to the Future of Jobs Report 2025 by the World Economic Forum, the global labor market is set to undergo massive changes in the next 5 years. While 92 million jobs are expected to disappear, 78 million jobs will emerge across innovative sectors by 2030. Labor Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma says the Marcos administration is addressing this.
Technological advancements will certainly have an impact or an effect in terms of job losses. Just to emphasize, early on in the administration of President Marcos Jr., there is a recognition that there should be any really deliberate efforts, concerted efforts to address skills gap.
Tech skills such as big data and cloud computing are in high demand. Fields such as data analysis, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity are expected to drive the greatest opportunities. As AI continues to proliferate, the demand for experts in this technology is rapidly increasing. And with companies becoming more data-driven, the need for data scientists and analysts is soaring.
Data is the new oil or the new gold. Kaya if you're able to extract a lot of business value from the data that you have, then you're in a good spot, especially if you're a data practitioner in this time. It's really one of the backbones of a business-driven decision-making strategy in any organization.
With technology advancements, nearly 40% of workers' current skills will require updating. Fields such as IT and cybersecurity are critical areas for upskilling.
We have a massive gap between the demand of cybersecurity professionals that we have in our pool versus the ones that are being trained. Hence why DICT is investing heavily and promoting heavily courses in schools that introduce cybersecurity as a formal education.
Unemployment, underemployment, and employment will always be a serious concern. The DOLE has been very actively pursuing or working with various stakeholders, including companies and education institutions, to address skills gaps and to enhance competitiveness vis-a-vis emerging industries as well as yung nakita ng mga declining industries. And
the Labor Department is actively working with stakeholders to bridge the skills gap and enhance workforce competitiveness. Laguesma also underscored the programs under TESDA.
We align existing training modules, improve ones to meet the requirements of the business enterprises. And the new enterprise-based and education training law allows actually better enterprise-based collaboration and through apprenticeships and internships.
To address the training gap, 80% of companies plan to invest in training programs in the next 3 years. And even with the rise of automation, graphic designer Shala Yu remains optimistic.
I would say I'm optimistic. Kasi, even though the traditional graphic design branch is declining, there are more avenue for us creatives to create. And even though AI is on the rise, there are still things na AI can't do. Parang we're still needed.
Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
We're taking another breather. Coming up, the Commission on Elections reports over 30 individuals arrested for violation of the gun ban. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Oreta, and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world. The Maharlika Investment Corporation sets its sights on the energy sector for its first investment in early 2025.
So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system.
And job openings above 8 million for the first time since May.
After 35 years, we finally increased workers' wages by at least 150 pesos.
And that's it for Basis Points.
Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb.
The questions.
Talked about these packages. What exactly are they called?
They are actually benefits. We have improved or expanded is our case rate packages.
The issues.
Zero subsidy for PhilHealth.
The reserve is money that is required by law to have 2 years of operations of PhilHealth.
We clarify matters.
ACAP is ayuda, is to caution the individual from the effects of rising inflation.
Pinky Webb is always on point.
National issues.
With regard to was very vocal about charter change.
The political scene. The trust and approval ratings of President Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte decline, and conversations with prominent personalities.
Brings back wonderful memories of past Christmases when I was a little boy in Iloilo.
Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. All these firsthand at the forefront.
It has no authorization.
We hope and pray that it will not rise.
Thanks for having me here.
Our frustrated
myself, basically.
We always say that.
It depends.
A well-concerted effort.
Perhaps I can reiterate.
My greatest beefsteak. Iba pala yun.
Welcome back to Newsfeed at noon. Again, the headlines. The National Security Council sounds the alarm on China's deployment of its monster ship inside Manila's exclusive economic zone. The National Bureau of Investigation has wrapped up its probe on Vice President Sara Duterte's supposed threat against the first couple and the House Speaker. Transport regulators crack down on TNVS companies for making drivers shoulder senior citizen and student discounts. And South Korea condemns North Korea's latest missile launch. More than 1 million members of the Iglesia ni Cristo gathered in Manila for a peace rally. The group emphasizes that it was not a political event, even with the presence of several politicians. Hanati has the details.
Prominent politicians joined the Iglesia ni Cristo rally on Monday, echoing calls for unity and good governance. The INC summoned its million-strong membership across the country to reject efforts to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte, supposedly in support of President Marcos's own stand. Senator Robin Padilla did not mince words when he stated his opposition to the VP's impeachment.
Napaka-plastic ko naman kung sasabihin ko po sa inyo, pag yan ay umakyat sa Senado, mag-iisip pa kayo kung ano iboboto ko. Definitely. Ngayon pa lang po, alam nyo na po.
Padilla made the statement despite Senate President Cheese Escudero's reminder that senators should avoid commenting on impeachment issues to preserve their impartiality as potential judges in an impeachment court. Padilla, a known endorsee of the INC during the elections, immediately aligned himself with their calls for unity.
Hindi po nagbabago ang aking suporta sa Pangulo at sa pangalawang Pangulo dahil bilang ako po ay uniteam.
But Senator Bato de la Rosa took a more cautious stance, stating he would need to study the complaints first.
In deference to the impeachment court that is still to be organized, established by the Senate as an institution, right now, may sabihin ko kagad kung ano yung aking boto dahil nga hindi ko pa nabasa yung articles of impeachment. Paano laman noon? Kung akyat niya sa Senado, pag-aralan ko, then I will give my decision, my vote.
Senator Francis Tolentino also attended the rally.
Ito ang kailangan natin sa pagbubukas ng taong ngayon, 2025, yung ipakita, ipadama sa ating mga kababayan ang pangangailangan ng una, kapayapaan at pagkakaisa bilang sambayanan.
Tolentino added, unity is important, especially between the executive and legislative branches.
Walang mangyayari sa atin, di ba? So, dapat siguro talagang magkaugnay-ugnay.
Meanwhile, Manila Mayor Honey Lacuna assured the public that the local government was hands-on in coordinating the event, while stressing that her attendance was non-political.
Kami po ang nahingan po ng koordinasyon ng ating pong mga kapatid na sa gayon po ay maging payapa po itong ginagawa nating National Rally for Peace.
Also in attendance was her former ally and now political opponent Isko Moreno.
Kami ay nakikiisa sa panawagan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at ng Eduardo B. Manalo na magkaroon ng kapayapaan at pagkakaisa sa ating bansa.
Senator Amy Marcos, who was unable to attend, also sent a message of support to the INC. She praised the peace rally as a symbol of freedom of expression. As early as 9 a.m., Malacanang had instructed government agencies to ensure the safety and peacefulness of the rally. The palace further underscored the importance of unity in tackling national challenges. The atmosphere at the rally was relatively peaceful, with nearly 5,500 police deployed to ensure security. By around 5:25 p.m., the program concluded with an estimated 1.58 million attendees. Hannah T., Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Over 30 individuals were arrested on the second day of the national gun ban. Among those arrested include an appointed government official from the Bangsamoro Ministry and a soldier. Around 80 firearms were confiscated, with most of these coming from Central Luzon. The poll body is seeking to set up over 1,400 checkpoints across the nation. The National Police also reminds its personnel to ensure transparency during its inspection.
Pakiusap natin sa ating mga police, let's say sa gabi, wag namang itutok yung mga kanilang mga flashlight sa mga mata ng ating mga kababayan na dadaan doon. Siyempre, masakit po yun sa mata. May nagtatanong din po sa atin, ma'am, pwede po namin kuhanan ng video habang kami ay ni-inspect. Wala pong problema kasi kung sa tingin niyo po magiging secure kayo at magiging safe po kayo habang dumadaan na ini-inspect po niya, maganda po yun in the spirit of transparency.
A sad day for the banking industry as Swiss banking giant UBS AG shuts down its representative office in Manila after nearly 3 decades of operations. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas confirms the closure but did not disclose the reason behind it. This move reflects a larger trend of global banks re-evaluating their operations in emerging markets, even as the Philippines continues efforts to position itself as a regional financial hub. This development follows the recent closure of Credit Suisse AG's Manila representative office, also for undisclosed reasons. With these closures, the BSP reports that only 8 foreign banks now operate representative offices in the country, including DBS Bank, Bank of Singapore, and Rothschild. These closures highlight the challenges the Philippines faces in attracting and retaining global banks, even as it strives to strengthen its position as a financial hub. And we have this just in. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco confirms Appropriations Committee Senior Vice Chairperson and Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo will take the chairmanship vacated by Ako Bicol Party List Representative Eles. The post was declared vacant as sessions resumed on Monday. Zaldico relinquished the powerful position, citing health reasons. For more on this story, go to our website, bnc.ph. King Charles meets a 94-year-old Holocaust survivor ahead of his visit to Poland later this month for the 80th anniversary of the Auschwitz liberation. Manfred Goldberg is among the survivors who shared their experiences at Buckingham Palace on Monday. King Charles lit a candle in memory of those who died in the Holocaust and more recent genocides. The king also met with 3 organizations who are making sure the experiences of Holocaust survivors are passed on in years to come. Thailand takes a big step toward legalizing gambling and casinos as its cabinet approves a draft law to decriminalize them. The Prime Minister says the move is designed to boost tourism, create jobs, and attract investments. Under the proposed plan, gambling will be limited to entertainment complexes. The draft law will now be sent to Parliament for further deliberation. If approved, this could open a new era for Thailand's tourism and hospitality sectors, making it a regional destination for entertainment and leisure. We're taking a quick break. Up ahead, South Korean actor Lee Minho set to return to Manila. More on that story when Newsfeed at Noon returns. You're still watching Newsfeed at noon. Royal couple Prince Harry and Meghan Markle extend a hand to the victims of the wildfires in Los Angeles. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex visited evacuation centers in Pasadena to give out free meals from the World Central Kitchen. Other reports say the two also opened their home in Montecito for evacuees. Meanwhile, donations poured in at a donation center in Arcadia, California, where clothing, water, and food came from thousands of donors. This is only one of the many relief efforts in California, which proves disasters can bring out the best in humanity.
The worst part about the fire was my dad's school is getting burned down. Kids cannot go to school. Kids and grown-ups are homeless. They don't have anywhere to live.
You know, he's been watching this on the TV with me as well. And he's been asking what's going on, what's up with the fire. And then today we woke up, the air was okay. And we were like, let's go help. We have to, because we could easily be the next victims.
I just needed to come out and do something to help people. Sorry, I feel so bad for the people. So just wanted to come help somebody. That's all I can do. I can't give a bunch of money, but I can come and give my time.
Entertainment news now. American singer and songwriter Carrie Underwood set to perform at Donald Trump's presidential inauguration on January 20. The Presidential Inaugural Committee spokesperson confirmed the Grammy award-winning country singer will be taking the stage to sing America the Beautiful. The American Idol winner will be joined on stage by the United States Naval Academy Glee Club and the Armed Forces Chorus. South Korean actor Lee Minho will visit Manila again this year. He announced the Minhoverse fan meet in Asia on X. Apart from Manila, the actor's tour schedule includes Seoul, Bangkok, Macau, Taipei, and Jakarta before flying to Tokyo. The actor is best known for his roles in Boys Over Flowers, The Heirs, Legend of the Blue Sea, and many more. In sports, former NBA champion Dwight Howard is once again reinforcing a Philippine team for a tournament in Dubai later this month. Howard officially announced his return to Strong Group Athletics for the 34th Dubai International Basketball Championship. The tournament is scheduled for January 24 to February 2. SGA also features NBA veterans DeMarcus Cousins, former Gilas big man Andre Blatch, and three-time UAAP champion Ange Kwame. Strong Group is seeking redemption in Dubai or in the Dubai Tilt after a heartbreaking runner-up finish in last year's edition. From the hard court to the boxing ring, the Gypsy King Tyson Fury says he's hanging up his gloves again. Fury announced his retirement a month after losing a rematch against Ukraine's Alexander Usyk. Fury, though, has called it quits on multiple occasions, most recently in 2022.
Hi everybody, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to announce my retirement from boxing. It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask. God bless everybody. See you on the other side. Get up!
If Fury makes good on his word, he retires with a record of 34 wins with 24 knockouts and only 2 losses, courtesy of Alexander Usyk and a draw. And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Good afternoon.